Hi, thought I'd talk to you about knowledge. Now, knowledge is important in the world to make a living, and there's a big thing about how knowledge is the most important thing. When you get into spirituality, you may realize that knowledge is a hindrance. You have to learn to unlearn everything you have learned to understand supreme wisdom. Now, knowledge by itself could be Schopenhauer's knowledge. In 1900, there was a scientist who made a discovery in quantum physics, and he was giving a lecture around Germany of his discovery of this principle of his. Now, after about 10 lectures, the chauffeur said, "Oh, I've heard that lecture so often, even I can give it now." So the scientist had a good laugh and said, "Okay, the next lecture you go and give the lecture, I will sit as the chauffeur." So the next university they went, the chauffeur went as the scientist and gave the lecture, and the scientist sat in the chair as the chauffeur. Now the lecture was received with standing ovation, but then it came the time for the questions. And the first question the chauffeur got, he was baffled. He didn't know what to say, but he had his presence of mind, and he said, "Oh, that's such a simple question, even my chauffeur can answer it." The scientist had a good laugh and went and took all the questions. Now this is known as chauffeur's knowledge. Most often, knowledge is like that. Real knowledge, yes, will liberate you, but first will destroy you. The illusion that you exist. What exists eternally exists. Knowledge is just a lower plane of consciousness. The first Shiva Sutra says, knowledge is bondage. Knowledge gives us an ego that we know. We really don't know much. What do you know? You know something, I know something. Knowledge is not the ultimate. Now, when you look at it from the Upanishads, higher than the senses is the mind. Higher than the mind is the intellect. And higher than the intellect is consciousness spirit. So realize, knowledge is of the mind. It is lower wisdom. Highest wisdom is consciousness spirit. If you want to bloom like a lotus, leave the mind and the mud below and be over the illusion of knowledge being anything important. Knowledge should destroy you, and knowledge should be used, not to be used by it. Chalo, cheers.